Hello, and welcome back to Oolykee Gaming, and welcome back to our first update on this channel concerning this game. So, we have a nuclear option. We have nuclear industries. And it's huge, and it's absolutely huge. I'm gonna cover that in as a last segment. First, I'm gonna cover everything that is updated here, and if you didn't by now, please consider subscribing, liking the video, click on notification bell, and leave a nice comment in the comment section. Suggestions how to improve always are welcome. Now let's get started. First things we're gonna cover: new maps, random map. Yeah, we can put a random map. Now let me show you what this is. I'm gonna just choose easy. I'm gonna just leave it as it is. Nothing too spectacular. We can go with hard. Actually, it doesn't make any difference. Now this is a new screen. Now you can choose here the amount of lakes you want to put in the map. Usually everything is zeroed in around this area, but you can of course choose the amount of lakes. Let's go with a lot of lakes. Hills, let's go with small amount of hills. Terrain height, let's go with a middle ground. Usually this will be almost everything on the sea level, and here you're gonna have quite challenging, a little bit hilly, rolling hills and so on. Definitely better to keep this up if you like to have kind of realistic gameplay. Tree density, of course, you have how many trees are in a specific place and amount of forests. Forests are those big patches of trees. Right, we can leave it, let's say, tree density low and a lot of forests. And of course, you can build without anything. Don't build anything, build cities from 5 to 15 cities, and cities with roads. Everybody knows I'm crazy about, well, nobody knows, but I'm crazy about those roads, and they're like really awesome. I love it. First things first, this is not really so realistic. This is not the best thing ever. It's really good, and I'm gonna be using it a lot, but especially if you choose a lot of lakes, it's gonna be patchy. It's gonna look like a surface of the moon. It's not like rivers per se. It's gonna look like a water world. A lot of islands, and sometimes connected with bridges, sometimes not. Sometimes they're gonna be isolated villages on the islands. So it's not ideal. You're gonna have to play with random generation for a while to see how it works, and to see what you like the most. For me, I played a lot with it, and I'm gonna be playing in the future. So if there are no really nice, cool modded maps, you can definitely use this randomizer. But I still think that modded maps and the in-game maps are much better and higher quality than you're gonna get here. See what I mean? Everything is connected. It's like a water world. Let me show you the biggest map. Of course, you can put less lakes, but then you have less options, less opportunity that you're actually gonna be able to create boats and whatnot. Now look at this. You have quite few connections to the outside world here. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. None of them in the north side. One of them on the south, and 2 of them on each east and west. Right. You have only one main road, more or less one main road going through the whole map. 2 main roads, Y intersection here, and yeah, that's about it. Of course, you're gonna have randomized bridges. Where do we have here? Do we have a wood bridge or something a little bit better quality? I think it's wood or something of the lower quality. Right, and this is what you get as a randomized map. You can see here that it's really nice. I think villages are created, this randomizing thing about the villages and towns. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's perfect. I'm gonna use the hell out of it. Right. I just love how it randomizes the roads and all that stuff. Right, that being said, there you go. Voila. You have a new thing called randomize. Oh, more Morsk. Randomize map creation. And right, that's it. Now let's check out the other updates. Welcome to Warstock. Right, next thing, really big thing is autoconnect. What do I mean by that? So let's check it out. For example, we have some storage units here. If we want to connect more storage, or fuel storage, it's gonna automatically try to find connection to wherever. So in this case, we would have both input and output automatically searched for the closest connection you have. You had that with the buildings and the roads and the pedestrian pathways. Now you have it with everything. Let me demonstrate this. So if you have a mine, if you're gonna build a mine, so for example, let's build a coal mine somewhere in this Vavkavisk rich area, coal area, pointed in this direction. We can, I'm just gonna real quickly, I don't even need to do this, but let's do it like this. And coal ore processing. So input is on this side, and voila, directly looks for a connection, closest one, the best angle, whatever needs be, and it's gonna try to connect. Now, what about if you want to have this intermediary thing with the connections and conveyor belts? Let's check it out. So you have input and output, and bam, works. Automatically finds the best way to connect everything together, and voila, this is gonna save us so much time. Awesome. Okay, let's continue on. I think that this is pretty self-explanatory, so everything from pipes to conveyor belts to industrial connections, everything is automatically connected. Let me show you just real quickly. Industrial connections, they want to be connected on their own. So as many of them as you have, they will try to connect. Perfect. This is gonna save us so much time. This is the best thing since sliced bread. Continuing on, of course, you can do these guys as well. And now it's connected to your huge network of driving school or whatever this polygon is. Right, continuing on. Next thing is a search option. Now you can search stuff. For example, I'm interested in what kind of resources we have close to us here. So let's try. Oh wow, look at these. We have oil. We have crops. We're a bit far away from the oil now. No oil, no crops. We do have within 1 kilometer of here, we have some panel steel that would be from the warehouses here. We have some coal ore. We have some coal, and finally nothing. Not sure how we're gonna be using this, but there you go, new search option. Of course, you can search your citizens. This is uneducated workers. You can find search for your workers. You can see here black icons moving everywhere. Only 4 in here. Oh wow, we are so highly educated that we only have... Look at the college educated people. Enormous amounts of them. Right, so we have children under age of 6, children from 7 to 21, children 21 plus, and citizens during their free time. You can search through any of these options. Living preferences. In what mood your village, your citizens are? What's the food supply in every one of them? What's the happiness concerning the health insurance or health coverage? What's the government loyalty? Oh, they're pretty low. We're gonna have to tighten down on them there. Alcohol addiction. Whatever you want. Car owners, we're gonna have to work on that. Which people have television, which don't, and all that good stuff. Radios. You can search everything. Now, next thing, you can search excavators. You can search for bulldozers. You can search for every single vehicle that you wish. You can search for it using this option. Right, continuing on. Trains, ships, buildings. Buildings, in this case, fire stations. Where are fire stations? Bam, fire station is there. Churches. Bam. Road vehicle depots. There you go. So you can search whatever you want using this search option. Not really sure how useful it's gonna be for us, but there you go. It's there. Next thing. We have scrolling windows. When you build a lot of industrial connections, you're gonna have a lot of these connected, and the windows are gonna be huge. You're gonna have to go all the way up and then try to find your connection down here. Now this gives us an option to scroll through the window. Simple and useful. Right. Okay. New thing. Curving paths. So if we start building, let's say, footpaths, and then look at this. You can actually curve it as you want. Now, if you scroll with the middle mouse button, you can do even stuff like this. You can curve it wherever you want, how much you want. You can choose the angle where it's going to be directed. You can choose whatever you want. It's really going to be helpful when you're building those tight little passages between the buildings and whatnot. Anyway, continuing on, new cables. This is this is the cutest thing ever. We have a new cable. That's not the cutest thing ever, but it's. I love how they put so much attention to these little cables, even though I don't think many people really use all of these cables. I usually use the highest quality ones, and that's about it. But now we have 4 altogether. So the highest quality being the same, 2.35 megawatts. The second one is a new one, 1.5 megawatts. We have small one, 1.2, of course 0.65. So they're all changed. They look differently now. You can see, except this one. I think this one is the same. But there you go. You have more options with the cables. Now the big one. This is a big change on so many levels. I'm gonna try to build a couple of those here. So this is 4 megawatt. This is 6 megawatt cables. This is 8 megawatt cables. This is standard 10 megawatt cables, and I'm going to show you how much it changed, because here we go. These are old 10 megawatt cables, and these are the new ones. You see the difference? They have a Stargate or some kind of hole in here. Right, continuing on. Where are we? So this is 10 megawatt cables. You have 13 megawatt cables. You have 15 megawatt cables. And of course the newest one, Star Trek something ship here. Look at this bad boy. 12 high voltage cables on this one pylon. This is incredible. This means also that you can sell 18 megawatts per connection instead of 10. That's increase of 80%. I know, I went to really good school that explained this to me. That means on the connections now you can export up to 18 megawatts of power instead of previously only 10 per connection. This is going to be really useful for our future, something that we're going to review by the end of this video. But yeah, this is the new thing. Now, next thing, removing pipelines. Usually when you want to remove a pipeline, you would have to select the pipeline and it would disappear. Boom, the whole one disappears. You have to rebuild it. Now no. Now you can have segments removed and rebuilt in whatever way you wish. I was trying to connect it here, but it doesn't matter. Now you can rebuild all your pipelines. So if you go this way, this way, and this is definitely not something that I wanted to do now. Anyway, now you can remove the pipelines how you wish, and you can just connect them how you wish. There you go, that's a new thing. Let's continue on. Importing goods. Let's quickly demonstrate this. You can now go to the border and collect whatever goods you want. Real quick, I'm gonna do a demonstration here. We're not importing chemicals anymore because we're using our own, so I'm gonna just build this warehouse here. I'm gonna build a quick road depot. When this road depot is finished, we're gonna choose quickly a couple of trucks. For example, we're gonna go with covered hull, and I'm gonna choose a couple of these fast ones, and I'm gonna choose to go to the border and buy chemicals, and then go to the warehouse and bring the chemicals back. I'm gonna let it go, and I'm gonna copy this schedule on other vehicles. Now check this out. You can launch the vehicles directly from the office. You don't have to select every individual vehicle. You can launch them all from here. As you can see here, last year we spent over 544,000 rubles for transport, only for delivery of everything. So when you build a steel railroad and it has prefab panels here, all of this imported comes with a delivery cost, and we wasted so much money on delivery costs. Now, if you wish, you can build your own 544,000 ruble fleet of vehicles and start delivering your own stuff. Now let me show you what I mean by that. For this month, if you go for Soviet bloc and you have chemicals here in the end, we don't pay anything for transport. As they deliver, we only pay, as they are loaded on the border, we only pay for the goods itself, not the delivery cost. So technically, if you are living near the border or even further away, you can order your trains to stop at the border and buy and deliver whatever you want from the border crossing. This is a game changer because for 544,000 we probably could have built simple railroad and start delivering everything that we need from the border crossing, and this is per year. This is per year. We can buy a railroad and the train going all the way back to our town. Right, continuing on. Lines. Here we go. This metro looking thing is actually every single line we have on this map. This is every single, this first thing here is the 4 vehicles I just created on the border crossing, but this shows you what is being transported here. Usually it's just a single thing that we're transporting every time, but fuel, steel, alcohol, prefab panels, or passengers. In this case, shows you how many stations it has. For example, this pub, we have 6 pubs. That this is being like 6 stops. We have a warehouse plus 5 pubs that the alcohol is being delivered, and we have only 1 truck servicing them all. Now you can see everything from this screen. You can see everything concerning your trains, boats, planes and helicopters. This is probably for the future releases, and also mods. Right, this is a game changer. Now let me show you another huge game changer here. If you go to your storage and warehouses, you have 2 new buildings, distribution related. Now this is a big thing. Now think about this. We're producing our own food. Not really, but let's imagine that we are producing our own food. So I'm gonna buy this food that is produced somewhere else and then deliver to this warehouse. So this food suddenly produced somewhere on the fields, and then produced in other parts of Leszcz or wherever, and then suddenly delivered to this warehouse, needs to be distributed to all our shopping centers. What do? Well, you build one of these small distribution or medium distribution offices, you give them nice trucks, like these fast ones. 5 can fit here, I think 8 or 10 can fit on the bigger one, and you choose what needs to be on this network. So for example, we're buying food here. So we're transporting food. So we're gonna get food from this warehouse, and we're gonna distribute it when any of the sell points have less than 30% of the food, and that's every single shopping center here because we are importing just a minimum amount. I'm gonna just pause it here. If I connect anything on this network that can be loaded in this office, in this warehouse, and connect it to every single shopping center that we have. For example, we have this one, this one, this one. Do we have any here? No, this one is covering here. Oh yeah, we have 2 more here. We have 1 here, and no, that's it. So all together, scroll bar, you catch my drift, and 30%, and that's it. Look what happens. Bam! One by one, they go, because every single one of those shopping centers are low on food. Every single one of those trucks are gonna go, depends how many things we need to do, 4 in this case, 4 shopping centers. They're gonna go here, they're gonna load up on food, stock up on food. Here we go, stocking up on food and delivering exact amount that is needed for every one of those shopping centers, and going back to the distribution office and doing it over and over again, depending on the level that you choose that this covers. So if you choose this to be like every time that it's less than 90%, they're gonna be just traveling around all the time. If you choose to be, let's say, over 10%, which is reasonable because depends how long it takes people to eat those 10% of food in this case, 30% seems like a really nice nice number, but there we go. 30% was selected as a default, so we're gonna leave it as 30%. Voila, food is distributed everywhere. Now you can do that with anything that you want. With crops, for example, we have a whole line of vehicles delivering crops from here to here, and of course this is empty most of the time. So you can build those distribution offices. Not even that, we can just assign this distribution office to, let's say, this silo, where it can obviously is going to be connected with loading, and then to, let's say, these 2 buildings where they're going to be unloading crops or alcohol, in this case crops. So they're gonna be coming here and delivering more crops from these silos. So you can see here that related vehicles, we have a couple of new ones. that would be these guys going from distribution office, transporting food. Perfect, perfect. Right, terraforming is smoother. Do you know what happens when we... You probably saw me, I didn't use bad language, but you probably saw me when I have this yellow line here, and when you smooth it out all the way to the end, everything is green except the line itself. Not anymore. Line that you're building, it's always gonna be green. If it's yellow and you invest enough money in it, it's gonna become green. So all this smoothing out stuff now works. Actually works. I didn't want to say it works better. No, works. And this is amazing. I haven't seen a single time that it gave me a yellow line and I didn't want to correct it to a green one, even though everything is terraformed. Every time it goes green. Perfect. Absolutely happy with this. Now, walking. That's a new thing. Walking. Previously, one of these bus stations, for example, would cover just like a few hundred meters around the bus station, and sometimes it wasn't really reasonable how do they get there. Now it's much bigger. They cover, this bus stop now covers all the way to this block here on the right hand corner, practically to the other bus station. So bus stations are covering much bigger area right now, and this is awesome. I love this. This is absolutely amazing. So let's say kindergartens are not going to be affected by that, because kindergartens are, well, usually overused because we have they're just small capacity. But some things like, let's say, colleges, look at this, colleges now cover half of the freaking city. Half of the city is covered with this college. Amazing, amazing. So college is one of the things that's going to profit from this. Workers can work from further away, so factories are going to be stocked better. And of course, hospitals. Look at this now. We have a grid where hospitals cover. This is what one hospital covers. I will remove some of the hospitals we have. For example, Warstock is gonna have one, and I'm gonna have only one here. With the best equipment they have, I'm pretty sure that this is gonna be enough. Anyway, one more thing that I want to cover on this map that I didn't ever do anything about is the harbor. Now let's check this out. Ships. Two new things we have here. Aggregate loading. I'm gonna try to plonk it here. Now this is quite a fussy little thing we have here. These harbors are pain in the rear end to place. So we have aggregate loading and unloading. I'm pretty sure that this is a new building. I haven't seen it before, but truth be told, I haven't... Oh, here we go. I haven't used shipping all much because those boats are really expensive. Now we have aggregate loading for all the different types of cargo that can be loaded here. Well, not steel in parts, but let's finish this first, and we're gonna see what we can load here. Right, we can actually purchase most of the stuff. No, that's only fuel. Okay, so if we choose storage and we choose small aggregate loading, and wants to be connected straight away, and we choose this to purchase gravel. Voila, this gravel is delivered somewhere from some mountains, and it's being loaded here, and now we can load it on the ships and transport it wherever we want. So voila, unloading, loading, new stuff. Right, now the part that all of you have been waiting for, nuclear option. Right, here we go. The nuclear option. I'm gonna explain everything. This is connected to everything. Just let me check. I'm pretty sure that this doesn't exist anymore. But day-night cycle, I really want them to remove this day-night cycle so I can remove it from here, because that's pain in the rear end. I really hate this day-night cycle, because here I started with, well, forgot to turn it off. Right, I'm gonna cover part by part. This is what I'm gonna play paused, just so you guys can follow up what's happening. On a nice morning here in the nuclear city. Right, new things we have now. It's the uranium. So uranium ore can be found in several places, not as common as coal, iron or oil, depends, but in this case it's not so common, but you can find it. Sometimes it's gonna be in the awkward places like these steep mountains, and this is obviously a custom map, the randomly generated map, and it can create quite steep mountains, and you're gonna have to work around that. But we found a nice little source of uranium here. We have like 56%, I believe, quality at source, 59%, and current production is 12 tons of uranium ore. Now, how it works? Bear in mind, everywhere except the mine, you will have to have highly educated people for this industry to function. Now, let me show you this. First, mine is mined here. Uranium ore is mined in the mine, and then it's sent to the processing plant, uranium processing plant. Now you can transport it with trucks here. I already am testing this, so trucks now can transport uranium ore. Not sure if this increased radioactivity. I'm still testing this because I can't find really high radioactivity. Oh, by the way, this is a new thing. With pollution, you also have radioactivity. This is a power plant. It doesn't show me any higher radioactivity, even though we are transporting uranium ore in open trucks, and no higher radioactivity. Right, then you get the processing plant. Bear in mind that you have to have engineers working here. If there's no engineers, no work. Now, this refines the uranium into uranium oxide. You only create 1.7 tons of that per day on maximum production, much less in these kind of conditions. We are just around 50%. This is now transported with industrial connections or with trucks, of course. All the trucks now can transport the uranium oxide. Let me just check. It doesn't show you here, but let me show you here. If we go to... Oh yeah, sorry, it has to be closed covered hull. Covered hull, you can see on the... Nope, it's actually open hull. You can see here on the right hand side 0.9 tons of uranium oxide. So technically you can deliver this uranium oxide with lorries or trucks into this processing plant. This processing plant creates 1.7 ton of uranium oxide, and then uranium oxide can be transported either with industrial connection or with trucks. I didn't demonstrate this. To uranium conversion plant. This converts uranium into UF6. I would say that that's uranium fusion something 6. I'm not really so technical about this kind of production, but yeah, you create UF6, which is kind of looks radioactive. You get new thing here. It's called storage containers. You only have one type. I checked it in 1980s as well. You only have one type, but this is probably going to be modded, changed, maybe added on sometimes later. You have two different kinds of containers for two different types. This is for UF6, produced in Czechoslovakia, and this factory produces just under 1 ton of UF6 per day. It uses 2.2 tons of uranium oxide and 0.21 tons of chemicals. You're going to use a lot of chemicals for this, bear that in mind. So if you want to lower the costs, better produce your own chemicals. Right, okay, continuing on. This container then is stored here. You see these containers? Bam, they're stored here. Every one of those containers is 0.7 tons, and we have a lot of them. This is practically stopped now, this factory, because it's producing much more UF6 than we need. UF6 is then transported in these containers through, in this case, industrial connection to fuel fabrication. This is where the pellets are created into the rods, connected, something. Again, repeating, you're gonna need a lot of engineers for this. You're gonna have highly educated workforce, so be prepared for this. Right, again, chemicals. You're gonna need a lot of chemicals for this. So here you have 0.4 tons. That's 400 kilos of UF6 is converted into 100 kilos or 95 kilos of nuclear fuel. Nuclear fuel is again stored in different kind of container that you can see here on the side. It's stored in 0.2 ton containers of nuclear fuel. Is it 200 kilos? Yes, 200 kilos of nuclear fuel. Right. What are you doing? Oh, this guy is transferring chemicals. Right. Did we tell him to do that? Yes, we did. We are. This is what I wanted to show you, distribution network. And in this case, we're purchasing chemicals and distributing it with our trucks to these two factories. Right. Okay. Next step. This is connected with industrial connection to our nuclear power plant. Now, bear in mind, guys, I tried this with forklifts, it didn't work. These guys cannot transport, forklifts cannot transport this for some reason. I am not sure why, but I couldn't transport any forklifts. So you either have direct connection to the power plant or use lorries. In this case, I'm going to just quickly buy a couple of, let's go with open hulls. I'm pretty sure that open hulls can transport it. Now, this is not shown anywhere, but I'm still gonna do it like this. So we're gonna have this truck going here and here. So it's gonna load here. Does it show? It doesn't show still, but trust me, let's just copy this to all other trucks, and of course, new option, plonk, plonk, plonk. All of you can go here and load whatever you can. Guess what? The only thing that's here is this nuclear fuel, and they're gonna transport it to this power plant that is not working. I'm gonna make it work, so I'm gonna give them all the workers they need. We have really good supply of workers here. I have 4 buses, and all these buildings are. Everybody's happy. Everybody's happy in Soviet Republic, so this is gonna work. Now we have people coming here, but there's no nuclear fuel. And also, one other thing I want to talk about now. Here we go. They're loading how much? 0.4 tons of nuclear fuel and transporting it to this power plant. Now, I could have done this with this distribution office and just tell them to distribute all this stuff around. But for now, I just created a separate line. Now, this is power plants. There are 2 different types of power plants. You have dual reactors or twin reactors, and you have single reactors. Guess which one is which? Well, it's kind of easy to tell. This one is smaller, this one is bigger. So this bigger one that has kind of fortified chimney that we all love from the Chernobyl, and you have the one with a normal chimney. This is a single reactor nuclear power plant. It produces 4,680 megawatts of power, while this one creates 9,360, double the amount. So this is just double this. It's like just huge. Like, literally everything is doubled. Right, so nuclear power plants, to function, they need to have cooling towers. They need to be connected to cooling towers, and here we go. Twin reactor nuclear power plant has to have 2 reactors, 2 cooling towers, or it won't work. Bear that in mind, it will not work. So let me see if I can demonstrate this. So if I choose pipes and then disconnect the pipe, for now it's working. I'm pretty sure maybe it's gonna stop at some point. I'm just gonna try to demonstrate this. At least this chimney is not working. Anyway, I couldn't start it. Maybe it can work with one cooling tower, but previously it couldn't. Right. So we have people now. Look at this. Single reactor nuclear power plant, no cooling towers connected. So this is not gonna work. This power plant is producing nothing, 0, even though it has everything it needs, except the cooling tower. So here next to these chimneys, you're gonna have option to connect this cooling tower. So we have, oh yeah, we have a new resource called steam. So we're gonna build this cooling tower connection like this, and of course the cold water or cold whatever is here is transferred. Water, I think it's water. It's transferred back here. Voila! Power plant is working. It's producing power. Unfortunately, we're not using any power because we don't need it, because we have 2 freaking nuclear power plants. Now you can see here the money on the right hand side is skyrocketing, even though we are importing chemicals and a lot of stuff for our citizens here. Still, I connected it to every possible, and in this case that's 5 connections, 5 export connections. All these power lines to both NATO countries and Soviet countries, Soviet Union. We're exporting power left and right. I think that's more or less it. Let's see what I want to cover. Nuclear stuff. That would be uranium ore. I showed you how to mine uranium ore, how to transfer it into uranium oxide, UF6, and finally nuclear fuel. And then nuclear fuel can be transferred by this industrial connection, or with trucks from the fuel fabrication to the actual nuclear power plant. There's another thing that I'm not really sure how it works, but we have... Use nuclear fuel. I'm not sure what we do with that. This is use nuclear fuel here. I don't know how much we can store it and how long can it stay here, but yeah, there's probably gonna be mods or some updates where we're gonna be able to dispose of this nuclear fuel, probably some nuclear... Usually power plants store it in the surroundings of the plant, the nuclear fuel. In this case, yeah, I'm pretty sure that it's gonna be the same. We're gonna have to just store all this nuclear fuel here. Anyway, that's it. The evening is falling. Export radiation. Yeah, radiation I can show you. Exporting power goes up to 18 megawatts. Cooling pipes are a new thing. Steam is a new resource, only for cooling for now, but I'm already seeing that it could be for heating for our cities and stuff. Storage containers, uranium ore, and that's more or less it, guys. What else? Nothing. That's about it. Radiation, yes, of course. Let me show you just quickly. We have this Geiger counter. I still can't find anywhere where this radiation is high. Everything is normal, and I can maybe try. No, everything is like quite low. Even if you, I put this supply line of uranium ore just to thought that there's gonna be some kind of radiation, but no. Anyway, I love it. Look at that city, powered by nuclear power. Right, that being said, guys, thank you for watching. Like the video, hope you're gonna enjoy it. I really will. Subscribe, notification bell, leave a comment in the comment section. See you in the next one. Bye bye.